But before we get into that, we're going to have to see exactly what we're up against here. Scout out the competition, if you will. So, against my better judgment, I went ahead and read the entirety of Reprogrammed. I do not recommend reading the entirety of Reprogrammed. I wanted to read through all of Reprogrammed to try to figure out what elements really make it apparent that this book is AI generated, other than the sexy cover art, of course. And while I did get a lot of good information from it, it was just way too much to put into a singular YouTube video. I ended up, my first take was like well over an hour long, my second take not much better. So for the sake of your attention, I'm going to throw up Subway Surfers, and I'm going to go through the 3 main points I took away that will be doing better for our own writings. I do have notes of all of the chapters of Reprogrammed, including a quick summary and all of my thoughts. If you want to go ahead and read through that first, link will be in the description. The first thing that really stood out to me on surface level was that the plot of this book is fucking insane. It started with Bill, the main character, discovering a way to use an algorithm that he made for a social media company to essentially instill beliefs into people and essentially create a way to brainwash people into believing certain things, which, like, you would think the plot of the book would go along the lines of, oh, Bill starts to discover the moral quandaries of, you know, literally brainwashing people, and debates on if this is good or if this is evil. You would expect it to go along that route, right? That is until he gets hired to stop a war by turning the military of a country into femboys, so that way they don't have the will to fight anymore. But then it turns out that the person who hired Bill to do so was evil, so Bill goes ahead and turns him into a femboy, and then they have sex. And that saves the world for some reason. So, like, the plot of this book is way better than what I was thinking. How does someone go from writing a book that has some potential, albeit not a lot of potential, but at least some potential, how does someone go from that and doing a full-blown 180, uh-oh, we're making people gay now so we can fight them easier, without using AI? Or a truckload of mushrooms. I do want to preface, I think this is one of my weaker points, seeing as how it could just be chalked up to lazy or poor writing, but as we're going to see when we're making our own AI-generated book, this appears to be a trend. But nonetheless, one of the things we will need to focus on when making our own books is just having a consistent narrative.